what fragrances would these TV show characters wear? So I came up with this idea recently. I thought it would be kind of fun to kind of just figure out or hypothesize what certain characters in fiction, what fragrances they would wear. I think some of them just wouldn't wear any fragrances at all, but I'm just putting together some loose ideas, just for the fun of it. And I'm going to start with a pretty well-known character, Frasier Crane from Frasier, obviously. I feel like he would absolutely wear something from Creed. I mean, he's always going for, the most expensive, the most luxurious option for anything. So it only makes sense that Creed would fit the bill, especially, I think, something like green Irish tweed, or, definitely green Irish tweed, because that's kind of like known as the gentleman's fragrance. And it's like $500, so it definitely fits the bill. It is a very agreeable scent. It has some lemon verbena, violet, ambergris, things like that. It's a pretty natural smelling fragrance. Not too strong, but definitely noticeable. And not too light either. It lasts a good amount of time, about 5 hours. And it definitely has the aura of luxury, of richness, and again, kind of a classy gentleman sort of thing going for it. So I definitely feel that that's probably one of the more accurate things that Frasier Crane would wear. Now, moving on from him, I would say the next character I'm going to mention is going to be Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders. I love this show. Tommy Shelby would definitely wear something extremely intimidating. Just really strong, really heavy. It cannot go unnoticed. So I was thinking probably something along the lines of Amouage, Opus 14, Royal Tobacco sort of thing, like really heavy tobacco notes, oud, birch tar, resin is just really in your face, but also extremely wealthy, and you just don't want to mess with this guy sort of thing. And Royal Tobacco is really just kind of a wall of really heavy, smoldering scents, and heavy, masculine, and also very luxurious as well, which I think kind of encompasses the vibe of, very successful gangster sort of thing. And yeah, very long-lasting. Obviously, Amouage did not exist when the show takes place, but if it did, I feel like that's kind of what would be the go-to option there. But yeah, for the most part, I feel like Tommy Shelby, he would probably... the main notes I would think of are tobacco, mainly because he's constantly smoking. Gunpowder, you don't really see any gunpowder fragrances, so that's just kind of in the scenario. And leather. Lots of, leather gloves, worn leather types of scents. That's at least what I think would be most prominent. But moving on to the next character that I can think of is Hannibal Lecter from the show Hannibal, not the movie, because I feel like they would kind of have different things that they would go for. But for the show, I definitely feel like he would not wear anything modern. I feel like he would gravitate towards something more vintage, more, that old style gentleman sort of thing. I also feel he wouldn't wear anything very strong, mainly because in the show, in the movie, and I'm pretty sure in the book, Hannibal Lecter is known for having a very delicate sense of smell, so he'd probably wear something very light. So in that case, I was thinking probably along the lines of Chanel Pour Monsieur, which is a 1950s fragrance, relatively light but still pretty solid and masculine. Primarily a citrusy green sort of fragrance with a little bit of oak moss, some vetiver, some wood notes. Just a very classic men's fragrance, definitely kind of set apart from modern men's fragrances that we have today. But still a solid choice. Chanel, a luxury option there. I feel though he could also probably end up wearing, if he was going to wear something modern, it would be something from Creed, you know, probably green Irish tweed or something along those lines as well. But definitely something light, kind of subdued, and kind of has more of an old-fashioned but very luxurious type of smell to it. Then the next one I was thinking of was Saul Goodman from Better Call Saul. Now this guy is very flashy. He, you know, those bright suits, just flashy, really out there. So I feel like he'd probably wear something along the lines of Paco Rabanne 1 million, something really in your face, impossible to ignore. Maybe a little bit gauche, but definitely because it's just so strong. It's, I mean, by now it's kind of outdated, but for the time. Plus, it's kind of a very recognizable scent. It's extremely sweet, especially for a man's scent. Very kind of citrusy, has some florals in it, but it also has a little bit of leather and some heavier notes like that. Extremely long lasting. It just follows you around all day. So definitely something along the lines of 1 million. I would say it definitely has that really almost obnoxious flashiness to it. Impossible to miss. But I also feel like he might also go for something just really cheap, not necessarily bad, but just cheap, like Drakkar Noir or Cool Water or something like that, you know, like a $30 fragrance or a drugstore fragrance, that sort of thing. So either 1 million or just a really cheap drugstore fragrance. Then the last one that I have is Agent Dale Cooper from Twin Peaks. This is one of my favorite shows. I just watched it recently. So here's the thing. Dale Cooper, I feel like I was thinking he could smell a lot like coffee, because coffee is kind of his thing throughout the show. But I don't think as a character, as a real person, he would gravitate towards an actual coffee fragrance. I think he would go more towards just a standard classic fragrance. Probably like Dior Eau Sauvage, very classic, I think it's 1960s fragrance. It's kind of like the Boy Scout of fragrances. A very friendly, masculine fragrance, not intimidating at all, very approachable. Primarily a relatively light to moderate fragrance, kind of citrusy, some herbal notes, orris root, some florals, and a little bit of wood notes, but for the most part, it's on the lighter side, and as I said before, kind of a friendly type of fragrance. I definitely feel like he would go for something like that, and especially, you know, with Eau Sauvage being, I suppose, a more vintage fragrance, you know, just a good, solid, relatively simple but effective option. So that is pretty much my list here of fragrances that I think these certain fictional characters would wear. Again, I kind of just did this for fun. I'll probably make another one of these videos, again, just for fun. Maybe for women, maybe another one for some older TV shows, because I've been into, you know, shows from the 60s and 70s more recently, so maybe I'll do some of those. But that is pretty much this video for now. If you liked it and want to see more, of course, you can always like and subscribe. And I make videos like these throughout the week, so stick around for those.